Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Sorry it's been a while since I've released one. There's a hell of a lot of stuff going on at school at the moment, sorting out exam results, so I've just had to sort that sort of stuff out. But this tutorial thing, um, we're not actually going to be adding anything new as per se. We're going to be changing a lot of stuff and removing how we're rendering at the moment. Um, this is due to the Mojam, which, if you don't know, was a charity Ludum Dare essentially, run by Mojang, Oxide Games, and Wolfire Games. But they all made a game and sold it off charity, and they raised $500,000, which is not too bad. And it they used a rendering method which I'd never thought of, and is actually brilliant. So what we're going to do is remove a bunch of stuff from the old render method and change it to run a heck of a lot faster and allow animation. Okay, one other thing I'd like to highlight is this website, the javahub.net/forums. This website is brilliant if you've got anything to do with Java. I mean, if I just go onto here, the Java help section, in here, people will post, and then within 24 hours, usually faster, there will be a response on there how to fix it. So here, rendering system problem, graphics won't draw. And look at that. Three people have posted, well, more have posted, and the thread's not even 24 hours old. It's just a brilliant community. There's a bunch of guys on here that will help out, and well, yeah, just check it out. Hopefully, I'll be able to stick my source code on here as well. But yeah, you should check this out with any problems and just post them in there, and we should be able to get back. Should be able to help you out with it sooner rather than later. Okay, so let's get into this tutorial. First thing we're going to do is, in our game class, we can get rid of, where is it, buffered image sheet this, all of that part in the init class method. So delete that, and then delete that from sprite sheet loader. Okay, and now sprite sheet loader, we're going to remove that from the constructor completely, and everything in the constructor, and just organise the imports. So that's just going to leave us with the grab tile, which we're going to want to keep up. Okay, now in the folder called sprites here, we've got the sprite sheet loader class. We're going to create a new class called sprite, and a new class called sprites. Now the sprite is going to have all of our sprite in it. So this is going to be a class which we duplicate hundreds of times, and this will be what manages it all. So in here it's going to be simple int width, int height, and int pixels. In fact, these all need to be public. So we've got the public ints, and then we're just going to create a quick constructor, public sprite, this dot width equals width. Yes, we're going to need to take width parameter, a width and a height parameter. So int width, int h height, then this dot height equals height, and then pixels equals new int width times height. And what this is, why don't you like that? That is, yeah, rookie mistake. Okay, so that's basically going to create a new array, a new class essentially for each sprite. So if you say had, where is it, custom engine, this is my current game, which is I've been doing a lot of work on, and what I'm basing these tutorials off. if I load when this appears, here we go. I've got this sprite sheet with some basic animation in it, and essentially for each of these sections, which is designated when I load it, and I know for a fact that these ones are actually 17 by 17, so no, sorry, 17 by 15. So the pixels in that box will be permanently selected and held. So then all I have to do is just change the array thing, so I can select that one, that one, that one, or any of them. And each tile in there will be held in its own class. Now this seems like it should run slowly, but it doesn't. It actually runs very quickly. So one final thing we'll do in here is a clear method. Public void clear int color. So this lets us fill it with a color. So for int I equals 0, I is less than pixels dot length I plus plus pixels I equals color. So that'll basically just fill all of our pixels in with the color. Okay, so we can save that. Now in sprites, we're going to want to create a new sprite. So public static sprite, and this is going to be an array of sprites, and we'll call it terrain equals sprite sheet loader dot cut tiles. We'll create this method in a moment, and it's going to take 3 parameters. One's going to be a string of file name, so / terrain dot png. The width of each tile. So in this case, I think I'm going to go with 32 to give us more versatility, and that is all we need to do. Okay, so now we're going to our sprite sheet loader class, and we're going to create a method called public static void cut. Oh no, sorry, not void. Public static sprite with a 2-dimensional array in it. Sprite cut tiles. String file name. Int width. Int height. I'm just going to return 0, or return null temporarily, and then just for completion's sake we're going to do the same. Cut tiles string file name int width int height int x offset int y offset. Return null. And now in here, instead of saying return null, we're going to say cut tiles file name width height 0 0. This is just going to say okay. Okay, so we'll just return the value for that. And what this is going to do is, if we don't want to use an X or Y offset for this, we just set it to cut out from file name, width, height variables, and then we'll just tell it then to do the same, but having 0 and 0 as the X and Y offset, and then we can return them. Okay. Okay. In here. We'll create the actual method now. So try catch exception e system.error.println e dot get stack trace, and that'll just help us for debugging if it goes wrong. So now we're going to create a buffered image equals game.class.get. Just before I go past this. That if you write get class, it looks like it would make sense, but it is actually wrong. That was flagged up on the forums today. Someone had gone confused between the two. If you're loading a resource, you really want to just say game.class and then get resource. So get resource file name. That's gonna change type of image to URL. Yes, image io.read. Sorry, I should have remembered that. Okay, so that's the image created. So what's next? We're going to create our x tiles. So we're going to have the number of tiles in the x direction, which is going to equal image dot. Oh, sorry, this is incorrect. Image dot get width. So get width plus x offset. Is it? No, it's not plus, it's minus. Sorry, minus x offset divided by the width. And then we're just going to do the same for the y tiles. So y tiles equals image dot get height minus y offset over height. Now this w and this h is width and height from our parameters, and that's the actual size of our tiles. And then image.getWidth will return the size of our full sprite sheet. Okay. Next, we're going to create a sprite array. So sprite two-dimensional array result equals new sprite x tiles y tiles, and that's basically going to create our result. So in here we're going to say return result, and now we've just got to do the fun bit, which is, why is that? There we go, importing. Now we're actually going to grab the pixels from them. Okay, so for int x equals 0, x is less than x tiles, x plus plus. For int y equals 0, y is less than y tiles, y plus plus. Okay, what do we put in here? Right then. Okay, yeah. Result x y equals new sprite width times height. We'll just import that, and that's why is that broken? Not width times height, width comma height, sorry. That's basically saying everything in this sprite array isn't initialized, so that's just creating the array. And then in here, we're actually creating an instance of this sprite class, which is going to go inside the array of result, which will then be stored in here, but that's irrelevant for now. Okay, now this is the important bit, which you need to get the maths right with it. So image dot get RGB x what is it? It's x x offset plus x times width, y offset plus y times width, width height, height I believe, what we need for the full version. of course it's going to have a scan size at the end, so I'll be 0, because there'll be no offset width. Yeah, there we go. And then this will be result x, y dot pixels. What that's doing is it is loading all of the RGB values of the pixels into the result sprite, the result value of x and y, which we've just initialized there as a new sprite. And then in sprites we've got the array of pixels here, and that is loading every RGB value in that image into that pixels array. And what this here does is it's saying how much of it you want to load. So its width is going to be the width of our tile. That should be height there, sorry. So that's the width of our tile, and then the x offset. So if, say, you wanted to load, using this example, you wanted to load this sprite, but you didn't want to load the first 4 pixels of it, or you just wanted to shift everything over by 4 pixels, instead of only loading the entire thing and then moving it 4 pixels in your render method, you'd apply an x offset. So that would move over by 4, and then you'd only load that much of it, adding 4 pixels to the right hand side. And what the times width does, plus x times width, x is the number of x is less than our x tiles value here. So it's going to go across every time. So if we look at this again, x will start off at 0, so it'll load this tile. And then when it's completed that, it'll go to 1 and it'll load this tile. And then this. And then it'll go down to 0 again, and y will become 1. And it'll just keep repeating that, loading each one into a separate class. And you multiply it by width to get just literally the size of the tile that you want. If you say 64 and it's a 32-bit pixel class, so these are all 16. So if I actually run it off this image, it will load that much of it immediately because it's their 16 pixel sprites. Then you just got your width and height of the scan size, and then the scan length, which is going to be width. And then after you've done that, it's just returning result, you catch, and then if that fails, it will print out the stack trace and return null. So there won't be anything there to mess it all up. And now we can delete grab tile because we don't need that. And that is going to create an error in our screen method. There we go. Grab tile's gone wrong. So we can delete grab tile. And now we're going to change this from render to render sprite. Because meaningful names are fun. And we'll remove the last 3 parameters and change it to sprite. And then we're going to say height equals, int height equals sprite dot height. Int width equals sprite dot width. Okay. Now there's a full transparency. Previously I was only using this value for transparency, so essentially if you set your RGB values to 255 0255 true pink as it's called, and fill that, it will ignore all of that pink and render everything else. Now what I'm doing is actually making use of the alpha channel. We've got it there, so why not use it? And I did not know how to do this until I watched the live stream. When I had noticed that everything was negative, but I thought that was a certain part of the spectrum, but apparently it isn't. Everything that's positive in an ARGB image, which includes an alpha channel, is actually transparent. So, and col is less than 0. Okay, and if we save all that, that should work. And now our game's going to have a history fit. So now we can just get rid of this. And what we'll say is, what are we going to say? Yeah. So, oh no, what am I doing? What have I just done wrong? Wrong class screen. Oh, 1 second. Okay, so that was just me worrying. It's fine. This is all working right. Okay, in here. What we're going to do here is going to say, this is actually calling the render. So if we get rid of this, and the randoms, we don't need that right now. We can delete that, and pretty much everywhere else it occurs, which is just here. And we'll get rid of all these parameters. Now the first parameter we're going to give it is going to be x times, just before this, we're just going to create a new sprite equals sprite equals sprites dot import it sprites dot terrain 0 0. Okay, so now in render, essentially what this does is let you just set, I want to load this tile sheet and this tile, and then you could just say in render x times sprite dot width, y times sprite dot height, and then sprite as your actual sprite. And why is that going to change? Render sprite, yes, sprite. Okay, now that should work. If it doesn't, I'll quickly run through and see what I've done wrong. So I run that, bring it. There's, I just realised, yeah, I haven't created a terrain path yet. So what we'll do is we'll create a new file in here, 320, no, not 799, turn numlock on, 320 by 320. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just delete it all. Right, no we won't, we'll just keep that there. And we're going to use this fantastic little plugin here. So render grid, just make sure I've got the right colour on. Effects, render grid, brush width 1, 32 by 32. Okay. And there we go. There's our grid made. So now we'll just select the first tile. And we'll pick a green again. Backspace, fill, utility effects, noise, add noise. Drop the intensity down a bit so you get a nice looking image. I like around 24, 23, 24 is nice. And then just drop this colour saturation down to about 45. That looks good. The reason you add noise is it makes it very hard to tell that you're actually using a tile sheet. Okay, so now we'll save that. So file save as. This is just a copy of the tutorial, so I can just make the changes, make sure they work. So go into tutorial, make class, and then here you can delete tiles now because you don't really need that, and call this terrain.png and save. You want to have it auto detect because you need the transparency, so okay, and there we go. That should work if you just right click tutorial, refresh, so it'll reload and you've got terrain there now. So hit run, and that's not working. Why is that not working? Null pointer exception. So let's go to 31. X plus y times width. What is actually broken there? 1 second, I'll just figure out what's gone wrong with this. Okay, I just realised the bug here. It's here. I've left it all as loader, which should have flagged up if I'd deleted this as I meant to. Because we're no longer using the loader as a method, as an object here, you can delete all that. That's going to cause a bug here, or an error here, where it's going to ask for the loader value. Delete that, and then back in screen, it'll now flag up this as an error. Now instead of saying loader, you're going to want to say sprite. So that's now going to use that sprite value, or that sprite and the pixel value for it. So save all, and you've got your bugs there, or no bugs. Organise the imports to make it look nice and have no errors, and if I just clear the console and run that again, and we should, there we go, and look at that. You can't actually, there's one semi-obvious demonstration of using tiles there. Around there we've got a patch that's darker than the rest, and there's lighter on the left hand side, but we can sort that out at a later date. So that's all for this tutorial. I just really wanted to get this one done before, if you guys are adding new stuff to them, I don't want you to add new stuff and then have to go through and delete it all again, because that would not be good. This is just, yeah, this is a much better way of changing everything. So actually, final thing, because it's just popped into my mind, for the tutorial that we'll be going to do next time, let's create two new methods. So public void set x offset. Yeah, so set x offset int offset x offset equals offset. Oh, why are you going? Okay, I actually wrote it out completely. Public void set y offset int y offset equals offs. Okay, that should be it for now. Yeah, that'll be it for now. So thank you for watching, guys. Sorry it's a long tutorial, that's almost half an hour, but this honestly will be worth it in the long run. I've just had to go through and change it for this massive amount of stuff. I had to change that for every sprite, and it's a hell of a lot of stuff to do. I mean, I've got well over 100 classes in this thing now, but I just thought I'd give you guys a preview of what we're actually working towards. This is built using the same engine, so actually if I kill that and if I load it through the launcher, oh, I've got my clients there. I've been working on trying to network it as well, which is complicated. So if I just run the launcher, okay, so you've got a basic launcher with a changelog, enter your username, and what this actually does is if I go to roaming in my app data, the name of the game, saves, and I've got a bunch of saves. So now if I just put in a username of tutorial and hit play, it will create the game. Welcome back tutorial, new game. There's a massive amount of lag right at the start. I'm not entirely sure why. If you look at the console, you've got 59 to 59 FPS. You've got a massive FPS ratio, and then suddenly it will drop down to 1, 21 and 1 for 3 seconds ish, and then it will work fine again. So I'll be trying to find that bug. You got some basic maneuverability. If I open up the dev menu, add a pickaxe, and this is the first skill I've actually added, if you want to call that. You can mine ore, and you can also buy, if you go over to these shops, if I just add some coins, as the statistics here, you've got 5,010 coins. If I go over to one of the shops here, you can buy steel sword blueprints, flaming sword, a bunch of other weapons, so ice sword as well. So now I can just use a separate weapon, and some of these are very powerful. This is another thing that I added. This, at school, one of my friends decided it'd be a great idea to have something that was annoyingly powerful, and it's this thing, the sword of mills. But you can also heal up if you lose health. You can come here and heal yourself. But the final thing that I like about this is these are actually tiles, they're not separate entities. So these behave as the tiles do, and I've figured out how to, oh, what have I done there? How to change an absolute tile reference without actually reloading everything. But now you'll see my inventory is actually full, yet I'm still loading, mining stuff. So if I hit I to go into my inventory, I've got a full inventory, and I've got some sweets there which I can eat to heal, but I haven't got that working yet. So yeah, save and exit. Thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, well, actually there's a save file. So yeah, I'll hopefully have another tutorial out tomorrow if I can get around to it. I'm gonna try and do 3 or 4 tutorials at once now, and then just release them over the week. So I'm aiming to do them on weekends because that's when I've got the most free time, but I've got a lot of other commitments which I need to put first, really. But yeah, thanks for watching, and any bugs, any errors, come onto this website, post and just create an account. Now there is a lot of spam accounts being created. Yeah, at the moment we've got none, but there are a significant number of spam accounts created, so your post will require authentication, and I'll be able to do that pretty much as soon as I get it, because I'll get an email through saying there's a post awaiting approval. I'll approve it for you, and someone will respond within 24 hours helping you with it, essentially. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.